is Need for Speed 2022. It's in Chicago. Have you seen any of my Need for Speed videos? It's a few of them. But seriously, where is Need for Speed 2022 and why was it not revealed, announced, rumored in the recent Summer Games Fest, in the Xbox conference, or anything in between? Where is Need for Speed? Now, something I overlooked previously in videos and where I've mentioned when Need for Speed was probably going to come out is that F1 got announced. Very similar time to when we kind of expected Need for Speed. Formula 1 games come out in June. Actually, the end of June, to be specific, is when this one is going out. Oh, lovely quality right here. And now EA has owned Codemasters for a significant amount of time. Well, it kind of just makes sense that they now align. They now align with dates and times and releases, and so they know exactly when this game needs to come out and when it needs to be announced and when it needs to start being spoken about in general. It comes out before Need for Speed. In fact, it comes out about 5 to 6 months before Need for Speed actually comes out. So it makes sense that this game got the no March, May slot for when it kind of got spoken about, and then obviously the release in June. I think you know by now that EA considers Formula 1 another racing game, and therefore it's can't conflict. They can't be overlap between those games. They may possibly be in the future, but right now it doesn't make sense to do so when you can split them up massively, especially when Need for Speed had the biggest launch ever, being announced in August and releasing in November. Especially with the inclusion of supercars in Formula 1. That's going to be something that EA is clearly trying to push a new kind of a new look at Formula 1. It's trying to intrigue and interest more people, just like F1 in general has been doing recently. The whole living the life of a Formula 1 driver. You get to drive crazy supercars and be very rich and all that stuff. But obviously still, you've got to like F1 to be interested in F1 at all. Like, I'm going to steal Ben's video of him breaking down how this all works.
Same, actually. Now we move on to furniture. And an F1 game, and we're looking at furniture. Is this IKEA Simulator?
I want the casting couch. Anyway, you get the idea. It's trying to be like Need for Speed did, adding the characters, adding the shoes, adding... We've already been here. We know what this is all about. It's trying to broaden the audience a little bit. Which, to be fair, I bought an NBA game just because I could go to a shoe shop in it. And it had an open world, so... Anyway, with F1 literally launching, well, the end of this month, in June, it kind of makes sense that Need for Speed is probably going to get the focus next, in terms of racing games. Of course, not saying that there's any other games, like Battlefield or the like, that's going to get their focus. EA already came out and said that things aren't lining up for a showcase in one date this year. So that's why we didn't see EA Play in terms of the summer E3 kind of events. EA's just not going to do one because do they have anything? So to avoid treading on old familiar ground, I'm going to say Gamescom is likely the time we're going to actually see the reveal of the game. At least significant gameplay, proper deep dive into the game, and basically when hopefully I can make some videos on the game. There's generally that time, well, at least it was for the previous one. But realistically, we could expect to see Need for Speed 2022, well, next month, July, begin to roll out. Once the launch of F1 is out the way, which is the end of this month, I'm going to say July is possible that we might start to get mentions of the Need for Speed game. It must be pretty obvious now. We've spoken to them many times about how Need for Speed and F1 is completely separate. There's just not... There's crossover, but it's much more likely that there's going to be more people buying Need for Speed. It's pretty obvious even with like Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon. Many more people are interested in Horizon. Many more. With F1 launching on the 28th, it just makes sense that it's clear path for Need for Speed to start to trickle some information. Maybe that's when we'll get the article that we normally get with Need for Speed, kind of starting the beginning of, oh, by the way, it's coming. But I do have to say, it is quite unfortunate for Need for Speed this year in that it doesn't really have any major competition. That's saying that everything's going as it is now. We had Test Drive that was kind of moved out of the site. We have got the Forza expansion, which is, of course, a Hot Wheels one, but that is launching in the summer. There'll be one later down the road because there has to be 2 expansions, which will probably launch around the same time as Need for Speed. But that will hopefully at least push them in a direction a little bit to be like, look, you need to support your game. If they don't support the game, again, we're going to have some problems. There's just no excuses this time, especially with 2 studios under their belt, which even if one of them works, the small studio works on updates and nothing else, that still gives us some stuff. If you didn't watch, Forza Motorsport did, however, get some first-time gameplay. And it looks pretty good. I wouldn't say it's anything incredibly groundbreaking, but it looks pretty darn good. I still think Drive Club is the king. Anyway, by the way, the Drive Club developers are now on Need for Speed. Turn it back. But the fact is, this game comes out in March, which will mean they're going to try and focus and push Need for Speed past Forza Motorsport, push past the hype for this game when it comes out. They have to. If the game comes out, Need for Speed comes out in November, they still have to be supporting the game in March. They have to push past this. It gives them something to worry about. It gives them something that players may move to. I would have liked a back and forth of our attention between a bunch of games. We all expected there to be so many games this year, but honestly, it's thinning out. Everything's getting delayed and pushed back. And listen, I know it's COVID and all that, but like, it's been a bit. Like, you know, come on, you've had some time now. That's saying the Crew 3 does not actually get announced. It's kind of been a long time coming now. We're expecting to see it somewhat soon. Here's something. The Crew 2 is clearly in its end of life. That's pretty obvious to the majority of people. In fact, though, the updates have been picking up, so maybe that's been changed. I expected the Crew 3 to take a slot between November and March, but now there's, again, 2 big games in those slots. Maybe between? I don't know. The Crew, maybe February, something. Give me, please, I need the Crew. On a personal note, I was kind of a bit disappointed by this summer/E3. I have been for the past 3 years. Since we've not had E3 events, it's become less and less. I've kind of been disappointed with everything that's been really revealed, announced. There's been nothing, I feel, from me, and it's kind of getting much. I feel frustrated with all the redoings and the remakes that we keep getting. And it kind of brings me back to the point of that Need for Speed really does try new things, and that's something I hugely appreciate. Need for Speed does take risks, and it's failed a lot of times, but I've got to be grateful to EA that they actually still do that. With every new title, there are new ways to play. For example, in this one, we're talking about the cartoon kind of anime effects that are supposedly coming to the game. That's ignoring the day and night system that they had in Need for Speed Heat, which I at first was very skeptical, but I ended up absolutely loving it. Rivals, complete mayhem, but it had a format. Like, going in back to that, it was a specific Need for Speed game, and I kind of enjoy that. And of course, Need for Speed The Run, with its cross-country racing, which, well, was copied by the movie, so it wasn't quite unique in that way, but you get what I'm saying. Because I would be just as upset with this series if it stagnated and got really, really the same every game. And that's something I'm realizing more and more. But that's why I'm so excited about this game, and I'm putting so much into this game. Saying that, I'm just as excited for Test Drive Unlimited, and I'm just as excited for The Crew. Arcade racing games is for me. I have so much fun with them. Even if they're really broken, as long as they try something new, something fresh, I know it's going to be a good ass game. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the games down below that were revealed and announced. I'm just curious about your thoughts. But do you think July or August for the announce of Need for Speed? Let me know. Be sure to smash like, subscribe if you are new. Until next time, peace.